Charles, we have a new take on the hybrid production today.
Yeah, it's good to be back inside before we go out.
Yes, later we will be outside, but right now we have a very important special guest. People are going to recognize Bob Bishop. Bob is joining us. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Jason. Enjoying the warm weather here in Texas.
That's what I was going to say. Joining us from occupied Texas. Bob, you have been covering the invasion. I mean, all joking aside, you've been covering this. I think you were the first person to even bring this to my attention, to all of our attention, that this was happening.
Right, with your George Lopez, right?
Rodriguez.
Well, George Rodriguez.
Sorry.
Yeah, we started in July of 2022. And that's when they started bringing them into San Antonio and using the migrant center that was funded by FEMA. And George and I did a number of interviews, probably over 200 of them, which a lot of them I have recorded on YouTube. But it's been real interesting. A lot of them are, gangbangers, ex-military from Venezuela, predominantly young males. So pretty dangerous situation to have individuals we don't know who they are loose on our streets.
Indeed. And you guys have been doing a great job in covering it, but I mean, unfortunately, you're just citizen journalists. There's not really much you can do in the way of law enforcement. And frankly, just from looking at the videos, there's other people now who are going there producing videos as well. And just from looking at Twitter and everything, it seems, Bob, very much like the problem is getting a lot worse.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And, the way they're shipping these people all the way around the country, and then they put them in cities like New York, and then New York doesn't have adequate resources. Chicago doesn't. Kansas City doesn't. It's a dilemma. What are you going to do with these young males roaming all over the streets that, quite frankly, are very brutal? I mean, to make that trip all the way from South America to Texas is a formidable challenge, and you can imagine how brutal and difficult these people could be on the streets.
Yeah.
Well, and my take on it, Bob, is that it'd be one thing if the federal government were tiny, and had no actual resources and a limited scope. But our government is the most expensive government in the history of the planet. We spend over $10 trillion at federal, state, and city level, and you've got to look at all combined on government. And we can't police our border?
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed last week, the Congressional Budget Office came out with their projections. And they're saying by 2034, 10 years from now, that the debt will be $54 trillion. That's 20 trillion higher than where we're at today. But what was interesting, if you open up their analysis and look at it, they're saying that we're going to have a GB gross product of 2%, and that interest rates will be 3%. There's absolutely no way that we'll be at 54 trillion, particularly if we're doing these giveaways with a lot of these illegal aliens in our country.
Well, I sense, and Jason and I have chronicled this since March of 2020, but the fabric of society in this once great city, and it's been down in the past, back up, down, etc., but the fabric of society, of civilization, that phrase, civilization's a thin veneer, it's gone. I mean, it's just absolutely shocking what you see on the streets. Thugs roaming around, garbage everywhere, stores out. People you run into are mostly tourists. Why they're here. I mean, we're the human equivalent of a zoo. They're coming here to look at us. Oh, look at this animal over here. Look at the.
Well, then there's reports daily of people getting stabbed, shot, obviously robberies going on everywhere. But today, we're going to focus in some respect on the combined problem. What Bob introduced us to with his investigations there in Texas, what we've been seeing and what everybody's been hearing about every day, New York has now become essentially the epicenter, at least in terms of news and media reporting, of this migrant crisis. And of course, the dumbest person to be the mayor, at least in the last 3 or 4 years, Eric Adams, has announced this crazy plan to give out prepaid, tax-free $10,000 debit cards to migrant families. And Bob, you've been doing some extensive research on this, right? You found out some pretty stunning things
Yeah,
about the plan.
I think what we need to do is go through and first of all look at the company and the individual that founded this mobility finance corporation or capital finance corporation. And what is interesting about this is it's a fintech company, but this individual that founded the company that's called Moke Phi was, I guess you pronounce that several different ways. Whole Coaxum?
Wole.
Wole. Okay, we could go that route too. And
It's
he's
bit-
got his proper pronouns there, he and
Yeah.
him, which is good. And this individual has been working for the last few years building this fintech company that bases handing out debit cards and opening up accounts for the quote the underserved communities, the unbanked, and everything. And what he's trying to do is use two different bank holding companies to run the back office operations for the debit cards. And with that, then he signs up with these cities for relief funds or whatever and gets a cut of the action. And then the banks issue the debit cards to pay out the different type of payments for government benefits. And so there's two entities that he uses. One is up in Minneapolis called Sunrise Banks. And there's an app for that. And that's to create accounts for the unbanked. And then also he used that for Los Angeles where they were handing out welfare benefits. And that's how he got to start. He's since moved another relationship with Bank of New York, that is Bank of New York Mellon. And they're the ones doing the debit cards for him now that's going to be used in New York City. So he's getting considerable amount of money for just signing up these contracts, and then the banks provide the back office support. It's a heck of a model, and for my take is that ultimately this is kind of the leading edge of UBI, Universal Basic Income, but in this case, it's for illegal aliens, which is
this is
kind of crazy.
preposterous. I mean, go back to his resume for a second, his LinkedIn thing. I am responsible for Treasury Services sales to large and mid corporations. What is a mid corporation?
I don't know.
Mid-sized
Right.
corporation. I mean, this is an insurance company, I think, insurance broker, Willis.
Willis Canada.
And let's keep going.
What you talking about, Fannie Willis Canada?
Yeah. I call bullshit on this resume.
Wait a minute, he's 10 years at Citigroup. Maybe he's friends with Al Walid.
That's when Al Walid made his investment. He would be very junior at that point.
I know. But why do you call bullshit, Charles?
Too many jumps around.
Exactly.
Travelers, life and annuity? That's the umbrella people, no?
Yeah. This is a resume. Where did he go to college? There's nothing on his college, graduate school?
That would be, let's see, education. NYU he went to, yeah.
Williams College.
College.
That's tough to get into.
Well, maybe he's smart.
Let's see, he's on the
people
board of
can
what?
be very well educated.
And volunteering, he's on Phoenix House, which wasn't Phoenix House? No, Covenant House was the one that got in trouble. What else is he there and volunteering?
Phoenix House.
Exeter Academy. So he went to Exeter?
Yeah, I saw that the other day and remember being confused by this. I'm glad we
Wait a
have both
minute.
of you guys here.
When did Claudine Gay go to Exeter? They're about the same age.
He's 53, I think.
Claudine Gay is about the same age.
Here's Claudine Gay. And yeah, she's
53.
53.
Probably in the same class.
Yeah.
How do you spell Exeter?
Exeter. Phillips
There
Exeter.
it is. She attended Phillips.
Graduated in 88.
And when did he say he did?
Doesn't say Exeter, but it says in college above that. 88, same class.
Whoa,
Yeah.
good spot there, Charles. So this
Yeah.
dude is down with Claudine Gay. Not in a gay way. But that's okay. That's nothing wrong with it.
Not for me, though.
Wow. So, okay, but Bob, you've prepared a ton of stuff, so I didn't mean to throw you off there.
Yeah. Why don't we go back to his original page here on LinkedIn?
Yeah. We'll coax him.
And look at some of his posts. Scroll down a little bit. Look at some of his posts that he made on his LinkedIn page there. Keep going. Keep going. Activity. There we go.
Yeah.
Why New York's plan to give migrants debit cards came under fire. So he's posting articles about his program that he's doing with the city of New York.
But you don't even get to the article, do you? Where is it?
Oh, you go down and you can click on it, but that was New
There
York
it is.
Times.
Emma Fitzsimmons. Well, he came under fire because they want to give out tax money to people who are stabbing everybody and running around creating chaos.
Let me put this slightly differently so that maybe some of our readers can really sink their teeth into it. Imagine if you're, let's say, the woman, the principal breadwinner in a family, and your husband is at home taking care of the children, to make this politically correct. And we don't need to get into genders and all that kind of stuff. Just, a family, and you've got 3 kids. And the wife is busting her non-existent you-know-what to bring in a lot of money. And she comes in one day and she says, I noticed in the refrigerator there's no food, and our electricity's been cut off, and we have the front doors open and there's paint peeling off the wall. What'd you do with my salary? And the husband says, oh, simple. I just gave it to these people from El Salvador. They needed our money.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fucking insane.
Yes.
What we're doing here, right?
But aren't they setting it up, Bob, so that it will just be we'll run out of money and then they'll bail something out and that'll be it, right? This is
Well, what'll happen is the federal government, FEMA or whatever, will give New York more money. They'll expand the program, probably expand the benefits. And typical of anything that the federal government does, it never goes away. I mean, this is going to be a permanent program. To my point is this UBI is going to be expanding. And I just don't think it's going to go away. If you scroll up in the article, you'll see that his organization is going to get $2 million for this pilot program. It's for $53 million. So he's getting almost 4% commission off this deal initially, and then he'll make additional money as the program expands. Now, one of the things that's interesting about the entity that he created, Mobile Capital Finance, is that he's had 10 different investors and a couple of offerings for his private company. And one of it is New York Bank of putting money in it. We have Wells Fargo putting money in it. We have MasterCard putting the money in. So basically, his company's capitalized with other people's money, and then he's making a nice profit off of skimming off these debit cards.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I can give you, it's a one-person survey of a one-store example, but where I live in the West Village, there's a supermarket right across the street from my apartment building. And there are actually people not doing well living in the area. Many of them may have moved a long time ago and are rent stabilized or rent controlled apartments, or some are on the street. But I noticed somebody who seemed to be pretty well dressed going and buying, things I don't buy. I don't go and buy, super expensive cakes and sweets and all this kind of stuff. Rang the thing up for like $100, and it was food stamps. So I waited until, because it says, on the cash register, EBI. So I waited until the person was out, and I said to the clerk, who I know reasonably well, I said, what percentage of the sales would you guess is to people using food stamps in this store? And the person said between 35 and 40%.
Wow.
Right, wow. Which seems very high to me. So then I started pushing a little bit harder. And in the way this works, it says here in this paragraph, you can't buy certain high-priced things. That's rubbish. What they do is they take these food stamp cards, and delis will buy them, give you cash, like 50 cents on the dollar for the card. And
then they go buy food that they sell in the deli, and this person's buying booze or drugs or whatever with cash.
Exactly. And you know, if you're prepared to cheat, you can find ways to get many of these different cards. So I call total. Look, I don't want to give my money to criminals. I'm sorry. That is, you know, not a program that I don't need a PhD from Harvard in political science to understand that you don't do that with our taxpayer money. So this Wole character, you know, needs...
Woe unto Wole.
Exactly. And who's on the board of this thing?
Of his Mo-Ka-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't make a determination on it.
Well, it's private, isn't it? Privately held company.
No, we can find it in open corporates.
Yeah, I ran a background search on him, and I couldn't find much on a background search on him. What you've seen as LinkedIn is about all I could find on a background search on Truth Finder.
Well, let's see. His name is Mobility Capital Finance. Let's put that into open corporate.
Let's first look for him, because that's...
He could have a complicated name. His real name could be...
Yes, Nigerian people frequently have like an African name and then an English name.
Oh boy.
What?
The standard template.
He's doing it like the Clinton Foundation and the Hunter Biden business, where he's got 1 million different branches.
Well, he's got to do that if they're going to have these cards use ATMs and banking in these various states.
But what does he have? Continent Aircraft Statutory Trust. This guy's into some stuff.
No, that was when he was at a bank elsewhere. But this Mobility Capital Finance, it's branch. Where's the headquarters?
Probably Delaware.
There are 4 different.
I think it's over in New Jersey now.
He's not in Delaware. Nothing in New Jersey.
He's the CEO of 2 companies. Let's hit the CEO and see what down there. A branch of the
Texas and Georgia.
Let's put Mobility Capital Finance into
What?
Into the search function here at Open Corporates. But you're going to have to, Wole Coaxum.
Did I spell that right?
2 N's. You still are doing 2 N's. No, F-I-N-A-N.
I thought you meant I should have 2 N's.
No, sorry.
Oh, he's got a lot of these too.
So these are all branches. It should show, oh boy, here we go. Previously known as Mobility Capital Finance Incorporated. The same, oh, here we go, Delaware. Okay. Similarly named companies, 47. There's actually, look at this. There's a Mobility Finance in Delaware, and then there's another corporation in Virginia with the same name, and another in South Carolina, and another in Utah, and then all these branches. So this is what you do if you're very sloppy and if you don't want people to understand how the money's tracking through your operation.
I mean, I don't doubt that at all. But did you see this quote from the New York Times as to why Eric Adams likes this guy's company? It's not because he's the best person to provide financial services. It's because he's using technology and he's hiring women and minorities. Isn't that good? You could go to Waffle House and find minorities using technology when they're texting somebody about how they're going to throw a chair.
Yeah.
And recording it on the phone. That's using technology.
Oh, man. It's pathetic.
Well,
Sorry,
you know, one of the interesting things is that in doing this program, he's having the migrants sign that they'll only use it for food and baby diapers.
Oh, sure.
There's no.
Yeah,
there's
so
an affidavit, right?
Yeah,
there's an affidavit that goes with it.
Yeah, so think about it. We've got people that we don't know their identities. They've probably have created a false identity, and they came across the border illegally, yet they're going to sign an affidavit that they're going to be honest.
That's called a
they would
laffidavit.
commit perjury, a laffidavit, exactly.
But
I mean,
David,
this is as if you're sitting there and you're trying. I don't know if you saw that thing, and I know this is off color. Forgive me, ladies, but academics have had to rescind this paper, some peer-reviewed thing about. Sorry to bring this up. A rat with a gigantic unit and 4 supporting units. This paper got published in a peer-reviewed article. If you put rat giant penis into Google, you'll see it. And it was actually approved, and it goes on and on and on in there with jargon that is not in the English language. Yeah.
This is a study featuring an AI-generated rat penis. Holy cow. It's rejected.
This business
Oh,
plan
it's retracted.
is the financial equivalent of this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Wait a second now.
These are not real words. They put all, these are not real words.
Peer-reviewed scientific journal that this week published a study containing nonsensical AI-generated images, including a gigantic rat penis, has retracted the article and apologized. Oh, that's funny.
Three scientists in China.
Wow.
and
Frontiers in cell development and biology. That's the journal.
Unbelievable. What's that, Bob?
And it said also a researcher from India.
Of course.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, gotta get them in. That's diversity.
We could give the giant rats and their penises $10,000 credit cards.
We've already doing that.
But they're going to have to sign an affidavit that says that they will not use it on migrant hookers in Queens. They don't take credit cards.
Yeah,
Unless you're Elliot Spitzer.
Now, what does Kamala Harris think of this?
What?
Of this idea? She's going to take credit for this?
Oh, she doesn't think. Don't be ridiculous, Joe.
Oh, my God.
But we have more WOLE data here. Right, Bob? The city council is saying stuff.
Yeah, if we scroll down, we'll see his fees under the program which was a no bid if we scroll down through the article.
53 million, so it's 125,000. Why doesn't this guy donate these services to the city if we're all having to, help migrants and everything?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
The pilot program involves only 500 families?
Yeah.
Yeah.
53 million for 500 families?
Well, no, it's 50 million for Eric Adams, 2 million for this idiot Wole, and then some credit cards for the migrants.
For 500 families.
That's right.
Well,
this guy needs to be shot.
I mean, it's the type of thing that he should be arrested for kind of right away. I don't like these plans that go on for several years. And
on one of our walk-arounds, just in an hour, how many people do you think we see?
Oh,
right? There are 8 to 10 million people in New York City. You're helping 500 families with this program?
For 53 million.
Right.
Actually, 53 million is just the fees. It doesn't even include the 10,000 going to each.
This doesn't begin. Mrs. Hunter Biden on crack would come up with a better business plan than this.
He did. He just got all the money.
Yeah, Jason, didn't they say that this program is going to expand to like $2 billion?
Yes, they said up to 2.5 billion. They said that all of this 53 million, they were like, we know everybody is upset about the 53 million, but don't worry about that. It's going to be 2.5 billion by the time we're done. And they don't have any money.
Well, do the math. He gets 2.5 million for every 100 million, and he's getting 2.5 billion ultimately. That guy's going to rake in $60 million in fees.
That's outrageous.
To basically, finance the rise of a gang-controlled society and create organized crime gangs. What do you think these guys are going to do with $10,000? You could go buy a car that you could drive around and rob things, bash into things.
If we do the Clinton Foundation, Wole, Coaxum, and fraud, does anything come up? Ortell's first law?
Just Wole, or you want Clinton Foundation in there?
No, Wole Coaxum, his full name in quotes, and fraud.
I'm pretty sure I did that
Google or
the
Bing?
first day, but let's see what we get. Inside Mayor. Yeah, it's a lot of news. 2 days, 5 days.
Hey, look at this. This is ridiculous.
What?
Expand financial resources for individuals excluded from banking.
Well, one of the things, Charles, is that the Patriot Act requires any bank accounts or investment accounts, brokerage accounts, to have an ID. A lot of these people don't have IDs. We don't know who they are.
Right.
How do they get around the Patriot Act? They give out these debit cards.
Okay, now here you go. All right. Yeah, this is going to end racial inequality, wealth inequality, one Wole Coaxum at a time.
So
we'll tell you who gave the money. Okay. Led by Commerce Ventures.
Is that Commerce Bank?
Could be.
That's New Jersey.
Yeah,
Yep.
Commerce Ventures.
Commerce Bank became TD Bank, so maybe the ventures part.
Tom Hutton, lead Series A investor.
Fintech. He's accomplished fintech venture capitalist. What's this now? Mayor of Birmingham.
He's delivered $20 million in assistance to thousands of families. Why do you need this entity?
Yeah, well, you don't, because the banks provide the debit cards. He's just an intermediary making money off the deal.
Well, somebody's got
bank
to pay
done
Eric
it.
Adams, right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So how do we initiate some sort of criminal investigation into
Well,
this
it's
guy?
not. You see, what they're doing is in all these SEC settlements with these banks, they're saying you have to demonstrate that you're doing DEI investing, and this is the
So
perfect
he's
thing.
filling that for all
Right.
these banks. They want him there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, rather than pay, some of these banks should be out of business, and some of the people who are responsible for 2007, 8, 9 should never be able to work again. But rather than suffer that penalty, they'll happily pay $2 billion or $10 billion or whatever and spread it around this way. They don't care, so long as you don't go after the meat of the sandwich. Leave them
Well,
alone.
I would add, Charles, the Community Reinvestment Act, too, that Carter signed in the late 70s.
77.
They get to check a box that they help the underserved communities, and checking that box with the Federal Reserve.
But this is, and we're beginning to see it. You either believe that we should have a border and we should have a scrutiny over who becomes an immigrant into our society, or you don't. And if you just want to open everything up and say, let it all in, nobody in 2020 voted for that.
Well,
Nobody.
but also, wasn't this country built, they say all that, hard men make good times and whatever. If it's inherently difficult, where you need to overcome obstacles in your country, whether it's filing things or, saving your money to get on a boat or whatever, it's only the people who were willing to work as hard as you needed to work to get here that actually made it here, that built this country. The immigrants that came, they didn't build that air conditioner, but the ones that came and stayed at Ellis Island, I used to hear stories about how my grandfather and my uncles would sleep on the docks and work on the docks, and people tried to steal their food and they had to defend themselves to the death and stuff like this, and then work their way up. Nobody gave them $10,000 on a credit card.
No, this is it starts at 10,000. Rush Limbaugh used to say, why give them just 10,000? Why not give everybody 10 million?
Well, that's a good question. You answered it basically. Well, that's not answered yet. We won't ask that question. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, let's give Bob the floor.
Yes,
We'll
Bob.
keep
Sorry,
cutting
you got
over.
more stuff still.
Well, let's go back to the web page for
LinkedIn.
well, not LinkedIn. It's for the
Mocafy.
web page. Keep going to the right somewhere. Right there. Just scrolling down here, gives you a background of what they're trying to do.
It says there's an about thing there. Does it list the board or no?
No,
I
it
don't
doesn't.
think so. Yeah, he's pretty opaque with all this, obviously.
Yep. But Jason, go back to that last page.
Yeah.
We just scroll down. Look there. Every year, billions in federal funding for Americans. So what he's going to be is an intermediary making hundreds of millions of dollars for services that the banks provide anyway, and he benefits from it. It's crazy.
But it isn't the central premise here in that summary up there, Jason, above the figures. This is the key line: funding for Americans.
Right.
This is not funding for Americans we're talking about. They're saying we don't use the funds for Americans, so let's give it to illegal immigrants. Where's the logic in that?
There isn't any.
No. No, it's theft.
Well, think about it. He's done programs for Los Angeles. If you scroll down, keep going. Right there, those cards that you see.
Yeah.
Mobile banking. That was one he did for Los Angeles. It's called Angelina.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for welfare payments for the city of Los Angeles. He also did Detroit, but there was such an outcry they had to stop the program.
What do you mean?
So,
what kind of outcry?
Well, there was claims about fraud involved.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Detroit. I don't know. Maybe if we could search it, we could find, the name of his
There we
company.
go.
Detroit.
There we go. Wait a minute. Oh no, that's New York. Mocafy raises 23 million experience. Leader.
Yeah, but if you go up and type, you got Detroit fraud in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they killed the program because there was claims of fraud.
Interesting. It doesn't get anywhere near that. Do you know when that was, Bob?
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was tied in with the Sunrise banks.
Let's look. Forget Google. Let's look at either DuckDuckGo or Bing.
Yeah.
There you go. Right up there. So here's
Now,
a clear
isn't that
case.
amazing that Google is hiding that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this guy's already been involved with the situation of claims of fraud.
That's really something. A lot of ads on that. Oh my God. They just can't get rid of the damn ads. So City Halt's Detroit ID program seeks new vendor over data leak worries. Wait a minute now. Let's just make sure this is the right company here. Yes,
There it is,
Mocafy.
right there.
Since relaunching in May, the new vendor for the program, Mobility Capital Finance, has allegedly been found of selling and or sharing personal information through clearinghouses used by U.S. information. Holy cow. Puts immigrant communities at risk for targeted enforcement. Whoa. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and this guy's now running the program for New York City. There's a reason that Eric Adams picked him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Eric Adams sits around there and he's like, okay, what are we going to do? This week, I found some robot company, and we're going to lease a whole bunch of robot dogs, for the cost of 12 Rolls Royces each. And that guy's with fraud. Now we need to give money away to illegals. Find me another crook. This is ridiculous.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that MasterCard, for example, or pick a big one, American Express, MasterCard, Visa, whatever, that they have the experience now to issue debit cards, right? I mean, you would think that within either MasterCard or Visa, there would be a division that could say, why don't we create a business of distributing payments to
Because this is a cutout.
Right. You don't need to give Wooly Coaxum anything. MasterCard should be able to do this, and Visa should be able to do this, if it's such a great idea.
Yeah.
So that's
Jason,
great that we, yeah.
Yeah, go to the far right tab for the Daily Mail. I think it's that one. No, no. I think it's the third to the left. See if that's it. No.
Here, I get it from your document, Bob.
Yeah, do that. Should be down towards the above Medicaid heading.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the one. This is what they do with the money. This is in the Daily Mail where they had a program similar to Eric Adams that they were doing. It was $10,800 given out in a lump sum, and she's taking trips to Miami on a luxury trip with her kids.
Does she work for Fannie Willis?
I don't know, but look.
But isn't this what people do, Bob? If you take a little kid and give them a huge sum of money, they're going to the candy store, they're going to buy Legos. People who don't earn money and have money don't know about how to manage money, and you drop a huge sum on them, and generally they're going to do something not so smart with it.
Right. And
yeah, exactly. You read this article, and it is egregious what she did with the money, and didn't care.
Washington, D.C. mom has shared how she splurged most of a $10,000 taxpayer-funded lump sum intended for impoverished mothers on a luxury holiday to Miami. Fannie Willis should open an all-you-can-eat resort.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah.
Just invite grifters.
But this is what's going to happen with the money.
Yes. Fannie Willis could open a resort, put a Red Lobster there, have an all-you-can-eat shrimp buffet, and all of it'll go out of business.
And then she could apply for a back PPP loan on top of it.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, Bob found the fraud. That was really good. Let's see. What else have we got here, Bob?
There's the one right there, that tab you were just on. This is
Right.
the one that they did with Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And see, they even had an app store where you could download it to get your card and stuff. Amazing.
Wow.
And open up a bank account for you.
Forget about working or having money. You just need a bank account and a credit card. Get paid before you have a job. This is a brilliant system they've come up with, Charles.
Oh. Yeah, they lend you money for 2 days before you get paid free.
Yeah.
Interest
We've
free.
already done Beavis and Butthead, right?
We did. They go to space, I think.
Yeah.
Look at that. They had 55,000. Oh, it can be used at 55,000 ATMs. Unbelievable. So you know what the money's going to be used for? It's not going to be used for food and rent. It's going to be used for drugs and
But
types
this
of
is a
risk.
stupid picture to put here. This kid doesn't need the money because if he doesn't have a job, first of all, he could get a job as a model, obviously, because here he is.
They could
Second of
sell
all,
the gold chain and the diamond
right,
earrings.
exactly. And he looks healthy, young. Couldn't this kid get a job doing something? Just give him money. $10,000 for doing nothing?
Ay.
Unbelievable.
Oh, you can use it at 7-Eleven to get your
Slurpees.
Taco.
Slurpees and your other things.
Wow.
Well, look at this. Why would they call? I mean, this is. I'm no expert on marketing and branding, but aren't these people primarily people of color? Am I wrong on this? So why would they name the project below this picture, Jason, right here? Why would they name it and trademark it Vanilla Direct?
Is it?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, deposit
At any
it.
Vanilla Direct load retailer without paying a fee. Isn't that racist?
It is. That's weird.
So we're a Vanilla Direct retailer.
You get money
Walgreens, Rite
directly
Aid.
from the whitey.
I mean,
You got to stack.
are we
that.
on the Dave Chappelle show or something? This is ridiculous.
It's the Fannie Willis's father show. You got to keep about 10 grand in cash around, Charles.
That's
You
right.
wouldn't understand.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a black thing.
I got it.
I like it.
Unbelievable.
It says right there, just swipe your card at the register and hand the attendant your cash.
Mm.
Oh,
But there doesn't seem like most people are doing that either. They're just robbing the stores.
yeah. You really
And
don't
also-
need a card.
No, you don't need a car. Just rob it. No one will do anything. There's so many ways that you could get your basic family needs from, you just you could eliminate the woolly middleman. No need to steal the money. Just go right into the store and steal whatever you need.
That's right.
Save all these
Insurance will
friction
pay for it.
fees.
Yeah.
Now, here's Black Enterprise. Are they saying this guy is doing a great job?
Yeah, if you scroll down.
Isn't that amazing? Ex-Wall Street executive raises over $23 million to help communities of color build wealth.
Well,
I think there's a
sorry, go
large number of people who do not care if this guy is breaking the law, so long as he's doing what they perceive as helping Black communities.
Well, this is a kind of talk that really gets me upset. 23.5 million is not helping this community at all. If somebody's taken $10,000 in wherever she got the card in Washington, D.C. and is going on a vacation in Miami, right? So that's step one. We're not talking, you don't accumulate wealth by going on vacations to Miami.
No.
You accumulate wealth by spending less than you earn or acquire, and actually investing it not in MoCaFi or some other scam like MoCaFi, but in an actual business. This has nothing to do with wealth building other than perhaps for Wooly Coaxum.
Yeah, read that second paragraph right there that you got on the screen. It says added partnership with BNY Mellon.
Yeah.
You know,
Coaxum added the partnership with BNY Mellon. And it would allow MoCaFi to work with more federal government agencies, including the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the IRS. Coaxum explained that is a big deal because those agencies have billions of dollars that can be allocated to Black Americans, but may not reach them now.
That's an interesting approach. Yeah, our budget is whatever it is, and why don't we just take some of that money and pay me a fee to give it to some of the Black Americans? I mean, this is did he actually graduated from Exeter and Williams?
He's getting paid, Charles.
It's ridiculous.
So Brian is saying HUD is involved. I think that's true.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll back up. A couple of pages here. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Whoa. Go back down. Keep going. Keep going.
Right there.
No, keep going. Keep going. We're going to see who gave money. Right there. Look at that.
Oh, Wells Fargo, Trust Ventures.
What's Truist Ventures?
Oh, Truist Ventures.
Truist, I think, is out of New Jersey, isn't it?
Sounds like nonsense.
Why don't we put...
Now, BNY Mellon is connected to Pershing Square? Somebody said.
Pershing Square
Oh,
is
excuse
very
me.
big...
This is somebody who is a social engineer who's saying that. Sherry Sandor Kelly, she's involved with the people who created the carbon credit taxes. Sandor was involved with Al Gore, right?
I maybe. This is
pretty
Truist.
sure.
Truist is who? Is it Meet Our Team? Right here.
Truist.
Right. Beckold Russ.
Nick Joyner.
Kristen McGettigan, I know somebody named Charlie McGettigan, who might have been her father. He's probably no longer with us. I don't see where's the board?
This is overview, team, portfolio, insights. That's not telling you the board.
Yeah. Well, if you take Wells Fargo for fun, put it in quotes, put DOJ and put fine. Because those who follow Wells Fargo know that it is a serial in trouble with the law.
I mean, how can they allow that stuff to continue? Don't they know that these super rich people are just going to do billions of dollars in crime and then pay the fine?
Wells Fargo agrees to pay $3 billion to resolve criminal and civil into sales practices. I mean, that's just one. Wells Fargo has had to pay quite a few fines over the years: 3.7, 67.8,
Wow.
125 million.
Who gets the money from these fines?
Well, a lot of times, what happens in these fines is that you're required to funnel them to charities. A portion of them, government gets some, and then you're required to.
Yeah, but they just tell you have to give it to a charity like the Clinton Foundation.
Right. And if you do the same exercise for BNY Mellon, you'll see they probably had to pay a whole bunch of fines. civil suit,
Yeah.
714.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're regularly forking over billions of dollars in fines, you don't mind putting 25 million into some venture
Right.
that, may or may not actually do anything.
Well, but joking aside, when you have this lengthy track record of breaking the law and paying a fine, wouldn't it inherently become a calculation of like, hey, we're going to do this $50 billion thing, but it's totally illegal. Okay, but the fine's not going to be more than $7 billion, so let's just build that into the deal.
It's called moral hazard. There's a phrase.
But why don't they say you're not allowed to be a bank anymore now that you did this?
Because you're dealing with people who are at the SEC trying to become partners at law firms where they can make millions of dollars
and get
greasing
that money.
this. You're dealing with politicians who need money from whom? Banks. And they're getting money through the... This is distressing.
Oh, absolutely. Jason, if you go back to my Word document, I want to lead you to something else that ties into this. Scroll up a little bit, next page. Stop. Look at, let's see. See right there in the middle of the page, it says Star Tribune Federal Government. Sunrise. This is the program where the federal government gives these banks to give money to the deadbeats. This ties into Wells Fargo as well. Sunrise Banks is one of the entities that he deals with, and they're giving out $2.5 billion in lending just to the Twin Cities. What they do is they give them $250 million, and then they leverage it up through lending to $2.5 billion. These are all deadbeats. If we look up this program, I guarantee you we're going to see all the big banks involved.
Sure. Well, who's David Reiling?
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
the chief executive.
The funny thing is if you go to their website and look it up, and they push the diversity and that we lend to the unbanked and et cetera, Jason.
Jesus. Oh, man.
You're going to find out these guys are grifting on it.
Yeah.
It's a community bank.
They got 3 branches.
Wait. This could be useful. Are you being scammed? Let's see what they ask you to watch out for.
Yeah, open an account here if you're not. We can help you with that.
4 things to watch out for. Let's see if any of them apply to Eric Adams. Watch out, or this thing, for small inconsistencies. Have we found any of those so far?
Well, he got fraud in Detroit. That's...
Bad grammar likely means a bad deal, mid-corporation. We wouldn't ask for that.
What does it say there? Chartered banks are highly regulated institutions that abide by strict regulatory guidelines. Failure to do so can mean fines or worse.
What, didn't you have something about the Detroit program was shut down because they were mishandling personal information? So that if you haven't applied for a loan, we wouldn't approve one.
So you pre-approved for a loan?
Pre-approved, yeah. But I mean, this really is, we're sitting here, in our spare time, the 3 of us, and
we're not the IRS
or the DOJ or the SEC.
We're not the SEC, the FTC,
or FBI.
We're not the FBI. Oh man, I'm going home. Oh wait a minute, I'm already here.
Oh my God,
it's distressing. I agree. What else we got, Bob?
Well, let's go look at the welfare benefits. They call it the temporary assistance for needy families. You go back to the Word document, it's towards the bottom.
There you go.
So what they want to do is expand this. I can't see the screen, Jason.
This one, USA Gov welfare.
That's
it.
I
got your picture. I got your picture, Jason.
So it's TANF.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, you lost the screen share there somehow.
We've got it. We're on the page, welfare benefits or temporary assistance for needy families.
Yeah, and that's where they want to start using a lot of these debit cards, and they're going to expand this program.
Oh, right. I saw something about that on the news, that they're going to use it for welfare as well. Yeah, this is basically Eric Adams figuring out a way for him to probably steal money for the rest of time, I would think.
Well, think about it, Jason. Instead of doing in-kind donations, they're just going to give them money.
Right.
And
Well,
and
that
these
was the idea, wasn't it? Or
yeah,
that's what
these
they
people
claim.
have no sense of deferred gratification, impulse control. I mean, it's a disaster giving them money.
Right. I don't know why that screen share stopped working, Bob.
Well, I can see the three of them now.
Oh, you can? Okay, good.
Yeah. But look at that, giving them money for childcare, job training.
Again, I would have a problem, would not have a problem if this were American citizens.
Right. This is inviting everybody from all over the world to come here and get 10 grand. How is this not going to break in a week?
Right.
And then Wole, what's his name, will be like, oh, I got my money. Oh, well, look, we can report
Well, let's
the fraud.
find our local TANF office.
What is that, TANF?
That's this temporary assistance for needy families. Let's see where, here in New York, where it is.
Medicaid, it says.
Let's see where they are in Manhattan.
But why is it Medicaid?
Lower Manhattan office. You click on that. This one here.
It's the only one they have.
Yeah. Christie
Chinatown.
Street in Chinatown. In
Wow.
Chinatown.
China.
So if you're trying to get money, federal money,
Go to
distributed
China.
to the Chinese military people who are infiltrating across the southern border, what better place to ship money than here?
Wow.
Well, what's interesting is Medicaid is now giving, under the Biden administration, waivers where they can hand out money.
For food and groceries.
Yeah. So if you look at that one article the Blaze did on your tab, probably more to the right, or go back to my Word document, they lay it out very clearly what in the heck's going on. Right there, the Blaze.
There you go. Whoops.
Yeah, you just killed that. Well, I mean, look at that. They're handing out
Right,
money in
rent.
Medicaid.
On Valentine's Day.
Well, here's the logic is they're saying that that's a health issue if you don't have a roof over your head or utilities or food.
What if
So
you don't
they-
have a brain in your head?
Yeah, so
That's
they
also-
expanded this to Oregon. Oregon's got a waiver for $1 billion to hand out this kind of money to the people in Oregon.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we've become a country that produces nothing, steals everything, gets free money,
Starts wars.
starts wars, prints money, constantly reducing the value, eating fake food. It's just,
Do you think, while we're talking on that subject, and this will involve Bob, but it may seem like it won't in the beginning, is it possible to get that video of Zelensky dancing in the
high heels.
high heels? Yeah.
I don't want to run a video though,
Or an
because then
image.
they could say you're
Image.
on YouTube and
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be in trouble for that.
All right.
Zelensky in high heels image. But you want to give him the money, right?
Well, I mean,
Somebody
we're
does.
doing the same thing, right? I mean, in Ukraine, here's 200 billion. We don't know where it's going, and it's not working.
Great picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the heels part. It's just that this guy he's a bad comedian who has suspended elections, jailed his opposition, outlawed a religion. It's hardly a democracy. And if we're going to support that, why wouldn't we give, Wole, Toli, Patafadali, Coaxum, whatever his name is, why wouldn't we give him as much money as he wants? Maybe you should change your name to Wole, Bob. Wole Bishop.
Wole Bob.
Wole the Bishop.
Tell them I'm from Nigeria.
I mean, you're an albino Nigerian.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
yeah, what's interesting is if you go to the far right tab, there's a Wikipedia of the people that want to give out UBI.
Yeah, universal income benefits. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at this list of people that want to hand out money to everybody for nothing.
Notice how many of them are from Germany.
Uh-huh. So I
Yeah, but
asked this question of Charles, and I'm curious to hear your input, Bob, because, Elon Musk has been talking a lot. They announced this new version of the robot that can walk faster, and they're talking about how it's going to start working in the Tesla factory, and they're designing it to be better at everything than a human. And that eventually what he's saying is this is going to usher in this era of abundance where everybody will just have everything, and then you won't need money, he says. We're going to have not just a universal basic income, but a universal large income. And I don't know really very much about economics, but it seems to me that if everyone could have everything that they wanted, unlimited, then nothing would be worth anything. Because I mean, even from when you're a little kid, it's like, oh man, Boba Fett Slave 1, I got to get that. Well, if you save up your, paper route money or whatever, and you get $15, we can go to the toy store. And you start to learn, like, okay, I want that. I got to do something hard to get it. Now I have the Boba Fett toy. If everything was free, it just seems to me there's got to be some tension, and there's got to be this exchange of value, or nobody is going to do anything. What do you think, Bob?
Well, a good argument there is Paris Hilton. What does she do with her life?
She had a kid.
That's
Eventually.
about it. Well, a lot of it, if you gave away free money, it'd be like looking at a petri dish with bacteria in it. Eventually, the bacteria would overwhelm the petri dish.
Right.
Right? They'd have kids out the wazoo. There'd be no productivity. It'd be crazy. Hey, scroll down and we'll look at the people in America. This is pretty stunning when you look at the people in America that want to do the UBI. Keep going.
Pope Francis wants it. He gets free money already.
Pepe Grillo wants it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Peter Barnes, Keith.
Look at that, James
Ellison,
Baker.
Who?
Baker.
Treasury Secretary.
He's a douche.
Yeah.
Swamp. Dorsey,
Jack
of course.
Jack
Obama
Dorsey.
did Dorsey. Robert Reich. That's
Paulson.
predictable.
Look at Henry Paulson.
Wow.
Curtis Sliwa. Now, let's stop on that for a second. We interviewed him, remember?
Yeah.
And when he was running for mayor,
Right.
and I asked him, will you promise unequivocally to root out corruption in New York City if you get to be mayor? And he said, hey, man, I'm 60, whatever he was, older than I am, I think. I live in a 200 square foot apartment with 19
3 cats or whatever,
some
yeah.
large number of cats.
Yeah.
All right, hold the phone.
Yeah, it's not
You're
good.
not qualified to be mayor.
Right.
You run the guardian angels. Chances are you're not doing such a great job of that if you're living in a 200 square foot apartment.
I think he said 300 to be fair, but I agree completely with the
300.
assessment. It was the most unimpressive thing. I was like, why are you telling us this? But also the guy from eBay is on here.
George
Pierre-
Schultz, wasn't he the one who was he liked that woman?
Who?
The one who was the fraudster
I don't
with
remember.
the blood test thing?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Holmes.
Yeah, he was on the board of that.
Sam Altman from OpenAI. So all these guys who have billions want... No, that's not... This is a lie. This is a trick. Here's Elon Musk right there, right?
I don't
Well, we
believe
know
Bill
Elon
Gross
Musk
is in
wanted
favor
to
of this.
get out.
What was that,
Joe
Bob?
Rogan?
Bob, what?
Well, we know Elon Musk was talking about giving away UBI.
Yeah. The former
There's Andrew
Walmart
Yang.
chairman and one of the
Tulsi
richest people
Gabbard.
on earth.
Well, why do all these rich people want to give other people money? That's not true. They don't want that.
Yeah, I think this is bullshit.
Timothy Leary, isn't he dead? I'm serious. Is he still
I
alive?
don't know. Well, wait a minute. This we got to hit this. I've never heard of this person. Aha Brown, 18th mayor of Compton, California, initiator of the Compton Pledge.
Yeah, hit 98 and let's see where it takes us.
Compton joins the growing number of U.S.
Guaranteed
cities to
income.
launch a guaranteed income program.
Now go into, I'm sorry to boss you around here a little bit. Now let's take a view of Compton, California. Can we see it on Google,
Google
Earth?
Earth?
Or
Yeah, I think it's actually a lot better than it once was, to tell you the truth. But let's do that. I've been through there. There was a...
you were straight out of Compton.
There was... Here we go. Compton, California.
Question is it better or worse than Manhattan?
I mean, it's kind of big. We would need to know what we want to.
It's a mess.
So is where we are right now. I mean, it's not a real nice. You need a lowrider if you want to go to Compton, Charles. You wouldn't understand, Charles. You got to have about 10
I'm
grand
more
in
Hispanic
cash.
than Rachel Dolezal.
But I mean, this is all around crazy ideas here.
Where did Asia, whatever her name is, if we go back, where did she go to college? And please don't let it be Harvard.
What was the person's name?
Asia something or other.
What was it?
It was in your Wikipedia entry on people on you.
Is that
Right there.
Yeah.
It's 98.
Further down. There you go. If we hit her, let's just
Brown. There she is. Aha. Could be Asia. Maybe her parents were Steely Dan fans. She's pretty young. This is the mayor of something?
was
How old is this person?
41.
She looks good for 41. She's an American politician.
USC.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be that smart to go to USC. 2004, she began working for the city of Gardenia. That's where Carol Shelby's garage was.
Gardena.
Yeah. And also the Goodyear blimp. I saw them filling up the Goodyear blimp there. I was like, wow.
Gerald Nadler was out there?
Yeah. Wait, who's that guy? That's her husband, Van.
12-point plan.
Most people want SUVs now.
What is she? Well, if you can make peace between the Bloods and the Crips, that's pretty impressive.
She began reaching out to Compton Bloods and Crips. I don't believe that. That's going to be something to do with the FBI. That's what happened there. There was a whole thing between NWA and the Bloods and the Crips, and that whole story of how they actually Shepard Ambellis knows a lot about this. This has to do with the murder of Tupac and Biggie and all that. There was a whole thing with the Bloods and the Crips and all that. I don't know the details, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that this 41-year-old girl did that.
Yeah. Now she's 41. She was 31.
When she got the Bloods and the Crips to do whatever?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. What does this
Oh
say
my
here?
God. 9 years before her birth, her grandmother was raped and murdered. An unsolved homicide to this day.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Jason, you answered the question where she got her first name, Steely Dan.
Is that what it says? Yeah, look at that. Brown's first name comes from the Steely Dan song Asia. Huh. Told you.
That's a good song.
Yes, it is. No static at all. Anyway, so Bob, what else we got here?
Well, let's go look at the list of all the cities that are giving away free money like Compton.
Where do we have that?
It would be right down below the last entity
Yeah,
right
there you go.
there. It says right there.
I think it's probably going to be,
It is extensive.
well, it's probably going to be cross-referenced with the list of cities that went bankrupt.
Wow. Free
Yeah,
money
scroll down.
programs.
Yeah, I mean,
Unbelievable.
it's amazing.
Promise of universal basic income remains an attractive concept to many. If you're a communist. Mayors for guaranteed income. San Francisco, Long Beach, more than 100 mayors involved in the organization's work. Mayors for a guaranteed income, interested in learning. But why are they guaranteeing an income for somebody who's not doing a job?
Details.
Wait. Statewide guaranteed income project. Where's this list?
Right here.
Right, let's keep
Alabama, Birmingham,
Oh, I see.
Phoenix,
Phoenix. This looks like every city.
Compton.
That's the Compton.
LA.
Oh, wait, you wanted to see the Compton Pledge? Here it is. It's to pledge to be a city about Black Lives Matter.
Whoa, look at those hands. Isn't that the Black
Yeah.
Power?
Yes, it's Black Lives Matter logo.
The Advisory Council. This ought to be rich.
It's the mayor.
And what is this? Dr. Sharoni Denise Little, CEO of the Strategist Company.
She's an author, an organizational strategist.
CAA.
Oh, wait a minute now. What is she doing at CAA?
Global Inclusion Strategy. Head of Global Inclusion Strategy at CAA.
Wow.
Abigail Lopez Bird. You probably have a comment here. There was friends of mine had a private equity firm, and they made the mistake of like 6 partners on the cover of this magazine with all of them.
Oh,
Like that. You never do that. That is a horrible shot.
Yeah.
MA from Columbia. This doesn't seem very inclusive here.
It's all just women.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there you go. There you go, right there.
Shields for Families.
Eisenhower? What's with that?
Rockefeller Foundation.
Children's Defense Fund. It's been recognized with the Children's Defense Fund. That's RFK. Greater Zion
Here we go.
Church.
So you bring in the church people. Greg Pitts, an educator. Cynthia Nunn.
So this is the advisory council, advising them they think they should give everybody money.
Right.
Well, they've expanded it now to reparations, obviously.
Right. I don't know. Maybe we should move to Japan. I think all these people would be beaten there.
What's the name of that guy that we got, Bob reported? The guy from LA?
John Hope Bryant.
John Hope Bryant. I'm amazed he's not all over this.
Right. What happened to that guy?
Well, he's actually quoted on one of the things for mobile finance.
Oh, is
And
it?
how wonderful it is. If you type in his name and then
Bryant. Yeah. No, Bryant.
his gig for the viewers is he helps people with their FICO scores. So the banks give him all this money so that they can check the box on the community reinvestment. It's crazy.
Wait. When was Operation Hope founded, Bob?
I think it was founded supposedly back when they had the riots back in the late
91?
1991.
91 or 92.
So how many years ago was that, Bob?
Over 30 easily.
33.
Oh, right.
And if this new McAfee thing came together, let's say last year, are you telling me that a man who spent 32 years trying to reduce racial inequality and failed is somebody I should listen to? Right? I've been doing this for 32 years, failing miserably, got all kinds of money. I'm the only African American to ever be knighted in Germany where they don't do that. It's just ridiculous. It's like, Eddie Murphy movies are funny, but this is like an Eddie Murphy movie. It's like Arsenio Hall's good idea for Eddie Murphy coming to America.
In a different outfit ridiculous. For every grift.
Yeah. If you recall the story on John Hope Bryant, I filed a complaint with the California Accountancy Board because they had a negative deficit of net assets. So the CPA firm, to get out of trouble with the Accountancy Board in California, pulled the audited financials and they had to redo the tax return. When they did that, I went ahead and filed a complaint with the Justice Department and the Commerce Department on his grants he was getting from the federal government. They put a criminal investigator involved with it. Criminal investigator's report, which I got a copy under FOIA, said that Operation Hope was non-compliant on the grant. But what was worse is there were irregularities in the federal government handing out the grants. So this is just a little bit that just shows you the corruption in the federal government handing out stuff.
Yeah, obviously, whoever, is not investigating John Hope Bryant's corruption is probably also receiving some little payment somewhere as a result of all these wonderful fees that they get for doing all this stuff, right? I mean, isn't that obvious that Eric Adams is going to be benefiting from this in some way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. particularly once they get the illegal aliens registered to vote. And
Have you seen?
didn't Eric Adams one time say he wanted to have illegal aliens, non-citizens vote? I think I remembered that about a year
Yeah, he
ago.
did.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was struck down, I think, in New York.
It was.
Yeah.
But
But
I think they're appealing it. I'm pretty
Of
sure.
course. Probably Tish James is appealing it.
Yeah. Right. And she also got something against the NRA and Pierre. What's his name?
Wayne LaPierre.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, she's out of her mind. And then the other thing that she's been doing is daily posting on Twitter the interest owed on this Trump fine, this excessive unconstitutional fine. You know, I mean, it's one thing when you're in a lawsuit with somebody and antagonizing them. Maybe that's not sportsmanlike or something like that. But when you're the attorney general, to be on Twitter like shit posting about somebody who you're supposed to be doing justice and upholding the law, what do you think about that, Bob?
not good.
Yeah, that's not the way things should be done. Let's see where Letitia James is here. Tish, I think it is, right?
Mm-hmm. She's got two.
Does she?
Yeah.
I usually look at the Tish. And where is she posting all the... Yeah, see? So here's the amount, and she's retweeting it. Oh, she's got her... Actually, there, she's amplifying. She's using multiple accounts. I don't think maybe they've changed it, but you're not supposed to do that. I mean, she's a total idiot. The city is falling apart. This person should have no time to be on Twitter, not be on here antagonizing. It must be this other account that she's using. Oh yeah, I'm not even following this one.
Yeah.
Right, from her official New York Attorney General account, she's making a point of daily, look at this, here's the interest. Look at that. What do you say, Charles?
I just think this is reprehensible, and this is unfortunately a precedent that has been set. And maybe Google won't cover the why this is bad, but somebody will in time. And what they've done here is I think, gross injustice to anybody who wants to try to obtain a loan in New York, because banks are going to stop lending in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. If you could go in and after the loan has been repaid, find out that some idiot in this state can now force you to hire lawyers and spend all kinds of time. You know, why would you take the risk? We have an idiot who's a vindictive, racist idiot in this woman as Attorney General. She's abusing her office. She obtained a loan under, I think, false pretenses. And she's gotten away with all this kind of stuff. And, you know, meek people are looking at this and saying, that's it, I'm out of here. You know, not so meek people are standing up, like various people have, and said, you know, this is preposterous. So somebody has got to come into this state and clean it up. The question is, does that happen before or after it goes bankrupt? Because we could very easily go bankrupt.
Isn't it already bankrupt? We just haven't recorded or realized that yet.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, all it would take is a real bond crisis, and interest rates have on U.S. debt gone way up. I don't know where they are at this minute.
What about people who don't know what a bond crisis is? What would start that, and what does it mean? What is a bond crisis?
When an entity spends more money than it earns, it has to borrow to cover the shortfall. And so long as there aren't better opportunities to lend, and so long as you have a sense that you might get your money back, you may cover off the shortfall as an investor. You may look at New York bonds and say, instead of getting 1% on my savings account at Chase, I can get 4 or 5 or 7 or whatever the number is. I'll take that risk. But there comes a point where people say, now, wait a minute, New York is fatally
going to not pay the bond.
They're not going to be able to pay. And you may not be able to fix New York because they have pension obligations they can't meet. They have too many employees making too much money. People with real private sector jobs are fleeing this place. Crime is out of control. When people start to really question whether a borrower can meet interest and principal when due, that's when you have a crisis. And we're, as they say in parts of America, we're fixing to have that crisis already at federal level, but in a place like New York City and state, which are much worse even than the federal government, we cannot be very far away from a real crisis. And when that happens, everybody suffers. Rich people suffer, poor people suffer, and this idiot should really suffer.
Tish James.
Yeah, doesn't she have like a net worth of like 7 or 8 million now? I saw an article on that.
Yeah, we saw something about that.
So she's enriched herself. How does she, with probably making 150 to 200,000 a year in her new role, accumulate that kind of money
Shrewd investing.
after tax?
It's the Mexico City mayor who was making $1 a year, had $200 million, and he answered long ago, "I'm a very shrewd investor." I'm sure that's
of course.
15
So it says
million.
15 million, but I mean, who knows if this is accurate? Where are they getting this from? Table of contents. Laura Loomer had a bunch of documents from loan applications and things like that, and it was all, yeah, it's a very good question. How does someone who has always worked for the city, what was Tish James? Let's just.
This is the Joe Biden program.
Yeah.
Bottom of your class in college and law school.
1958.
How does he have 2 mansions?
Okay, so she's an American lawyer and politician, attorney general, born in Brooklyn, Lehman College in the Bronx, Howard University. She got her law degree. So she's the New York State Assembly, New York City Council, public advocate. So then she's the attorney general. I mean, this is not really somebody, what has she really? Career. Public defender. The Legal Aid Society. That is the worst piece of shit ever. The court always says, oh, you should call the Legal Aid Society. And every time you contact them, you get some lawyer who's trying to convince you to hire their law firm. They're like participating part-time and like, oh, this is complicated. You should hire my law firm to do this. How is this legal aid? This is just an ad for a shitty law firm. That's what she did. And then, but the court is basically funneling people to that legal aid so that they can end your case and not waste time with people who don't have money. So she served on Mario Cuomo's task force on diversity in the judiciary. Now, wait a minute. How old was she when Mario Cuomo was having a task force? I guess she's kind of older than I thought.
She's 66.
She looks good for 66, although she looks fat and gigantic for any age. First member of the Working Families Party to win office. What is the Working Families Party?
It's a horrible,
sounds like socialism.
near communist operation.
This woman is a piece of shit who needs to be thrown out and prosecuted.
Yeah.
Let's see if it has anything about her net worth.
I don't think that type of thing would be published here, really.
NRA, COVID. She did go after BLM in theory.
Not really. She just sent them that letter and then never did anything.
Look at that. Go back up. Right there. Andrew
August 3rd.
Yeah, sexual
She
harassment.
put the knife into him. He put the knife into himself.
That's just because she considered him, I think, a political rival. She wanted him out of New York politics, right?
Right.
NFL investigation, Trump lawsuit, personal life, Clinton Hill in Brooklyn. She drives around in a bulletproof SUV like she's the president of something, and she's a big, gigantic, fat criminal. Whoops. Let's do this. What happens if we go and open corporates and just see what she's involved in, if anything?
The Strange Fruit Society.
Well, that's James and Letitia. Is she A? Yeah, Letitia and James, but that's England.
No, here, the Strange Fruit Society in Missouri.
Is that her?
She's agent for it.
Well,
maybe
because she was a lawyer,
James.
right? But that's her, though, I think. Letitia A. James. Let's see if we can.
Let's Google the Strange Fruit Society, or Bing it, and fraud. No results. Strange Fruits is a scam.
What is this? In NYC. Let's see here. They buy fake flowers. Millions of listeners. But how do we know that this is the same thing? Fruits scam.
And this is plural. Let's do Strange Fruit with James instead of fraud with Letitia James.
Okay.
Tisha.
Very small letters.
No results.
No, there you go. Plan to preserve. What is this? Strange fruit.
It's crossed out.
American Irish Historical Society. Yeah, I don't think that's it. Well, we're sort of just reaching for things here, but she's up to a lot of... Look, we don't need to go any further than what she's doing to Donald Trump. She's behaving like someone... Look, it's one thing if Adam Sharp wants to rant and rave and say, I'm going to destroy Goodman, and if he wins a lawsuit, publish articles in the Hollywood Reporter, rub it in my face. This is fighting, and we're two individuals fighting. I could post things on Twitter all day that say he's an asshole, which I do, but I'm not the Attorney General. This is so... How does this make it look like there is unbiased justice in New York versus... I mean, doesn't this woman turn on the news and realize that everyone is saying that she's politically biased against Trump, and yet she continues to post the interest in everything? Doesn't it not make sense, Bob? Shouldn't somebody who wants to prevail and be concerned that, ooh, this is going to look bad?
Again, you got to pay the queen.
Well, I tell you where I think this is going to go. It's going to go to the Supreme Court of the U.S. because if you look at what she's doing, the Fourth Amendment very much describes that this is incorrect. You can't have this kind of penalty under the Fourth Amendment.
Excessive fine.
Yeah, it's excessive fine. It's unreasonable.
She only got as far as the Third Amendment in law school.
Look at that. Incredible. I mean, just blatant.
Yeah, I think it's later in the language there, right? To be seized. Is it the Fourth?
I thought it was the Fourth. Yeah, that's what Trump is tweeting.
Eighth Amendment. The Fourth is the searching of everybody's stuff. So most
it's
often
the Eighth
mentioned.
Amendment.
Yeah,
okay, Eighth Amendment. Okay.
Let's see what it says. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. The problem is there are sadists who are also psychopaths, and I think Letitia James is one of them. And once they get this power, like there's no doubt that she is so enthralled with herself that she's able to dictate what billionaires can do, and whoever it is that took this $56 billion from Elon Musk. I mean, you're there, you're some insane psychopath with a shitty JD degree who reads about all these billionaires doing this and that, and you're getting annoyed and you're like, I'll show them. This woman is off the rails. She should not be the Attorney General. And the fact that a person would publicly demonstrate such poor judgment like this, posting the excessive fine and just hammering on this unconstitutional aspect of it with glee. Who else has she prosecuted?
Or failed to prosecute.
It's a really big problem. Bob, have we covered all of the excellent material that you have prepared for today?
Yeah, I think we have. Basically the whole gist of this presentation is we're heading to UBI. And then
you may be heading
UBI,
toward it. I'm not heading toward it.
Well, they want to. But if you head to UBI, what else is next? Now you're talking about cyber coins by the Federal Reserve. And they start paying us that and doing away with the dollar. What's next?
I have found a Strange Fruit Foundation. Sounds an awful lot like the Strange Fruit Society, doesn't it?
Let's take a look at it.
Indeed.
No data.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Well, that's North Carolina, though.
So what does that mean?
So unlikely to be
If
her.
she's going to do it, she's going to do it in New York, where she gets a free ride. North Carolina is one of the most stringent states when
Yeah.
it comes to nonprofits.
Yeah, and they do a good job.
By the way, I used North Carolina to go after John Hope Bryant, and they fined him for
Good for you.
violations in North Carolina.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to discuss, Bob?
No, I think we covered it. You know, everybody get ready for your debit card.
I could use $10,000. Honestly, going down to Mexico and taking a walk, I could probably swim across the Rio Grande. That barbed wire fence doesn't look that dangerous.
You look a little...
10 grand, Charles. Come on.
Yeah, but you look a little African American.
Well, the other thing that's interesting and exciting for our viewers is that if people are feeling like they want to see a sponsor-exclusive journey into the First Amendment Forum, Charles and I have pre-recorded a segment earlier today that is about 90 minutes, and we went into this entirely new, recently opened section of Grand Central Station that I had never been to before, and we just surveyed New York as it is currently deteriorating. I guess it's sort of anticlimactic because people already know that we weren't killed today. And there are a certain number of viewers who, I don't know about you, but they want to see me get killed. And so disappointment for those viewers, but I hope that people will join us right after this in the First Amendment Forum. People can watch on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and also on subscribestar.com and patreon.com. And I also want to make sure that people know that they can subscribe to Bob's YouTube channel. It's totally free. Go over to YouTube and search for Bob Bishop Investigates. Bob has been doing videos with us for several years, but he's also been going down to the Migrant Processing Center and posting all kinds of videos. So people who are interested in an investigation into the border invasion there in San Antonio, Texas, and all of the wonderful financial information. Bob does incredible research. He's helped both Charles and I with many investigations. So I want to thank you for joining us today, Bob, again. And anything you might like to say in closing?
Nope, let's just have a good Sunday.
Absolutely. And Charles, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great afternoon. Have a great evening. Stay with us. Tune in for the First Amendment